Hey everybody, just getting some things together. Just gonna wait for some more people to hop on.
You can still talk. You can still talk right now. Hello.
Everybody. Hi, how's everybody doing tonight? Hey Rory, how are you?
Why are you going live? What are you doing?
Hey, I'm really excited to be here tonight. I'm getting feedback. Tonight we're going to be doing how to root fig cuttings for beginners. I'm going to show you guys a way that's really, really easy and should make all the beginners successful. So I'm just going to wait a few more minutes as people hop on here. Thank you guys for spending your Friday night with me for a little bit. Appreciate it.
Interact with people that are commenting.
I see a lot of waves. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. When you guys hop on, just give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're there. I'm going to kind of go through the steps tonight, and hopefully you guys are getting your fig cuttings. You guys all getting your fig cuttings? Hey, David. How is it out there in North Carolina? Is it freezing? I know here it's we're in the mid 30s at night, and it's about mid 60s during the day, so it's actually pretty nice. No rain though. So, Bay Area. Hey Mary, thanks for joining. Hudson Valley. Oh, you guys are gonna be freezing up there. Oh, Orchard House Nursery. Yeah, cold. I know. We're in Fresno, California, and gosh, we're having a warm winter. It's December. December was like warm, and now we have January, and we have cold nights and warm days, but no rain. Yeah, freezing there, I'm sure. Cold in southeast Pennsylvania. Yeah. Oh, Sacramento. Yeah, you're like us. Not too bad. Definitely feels like it's warming up. A lot of you guys get your fig cuttings already? Yeah. Oh man, snow. Jeez. I don't know, guys. I don't know how you guys do it with the snow. Cold in Buffalo, yeah. Jeez. 25 in Utah. Yikes. Yeah, we rarely get into the 20s. Usually it's low 30s is cold as we get. What's growing on 9B? Hey there, what's going on? Thank you guys for joining. I can't wait to get started here. I know some of you have been on a few of my videos before, and tonight I'm really excited to help you guys be successful at rooting cuttings. It's the time of the year. Oh yeah, fall. Oh yeah, the fall's beautiful there. Starting to get cold in Washington, yeah. All right. Couple more minutes. I just have a few more things to get ready, and we're gonna get started. If you guys have any questions, just put them in your brain. You can ask me in a little bit. We'll get them all answered for you tonight. Starting to get out. All right. Fall makes it cold. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. A lot of you may know who I am. Yes, we will talk about watering. That's once it's rooted, definitely. My name is Brian Melton. I'm the owner of ProFig, along with my wife Valerie. We've been in business for about 8 to 10 years now, and we sell all kinds of different edible plants, from blackberries to figs and you name it. So we've expanded our line of products we sell, and so our specialty is figs. So I grow about 300 varieties of fig trees that I've gathered from all over the world. We've traded. We've met lots of great friends and collectors from all over the U.S. Thanks to social media. And so that's kind of how I built the collection. Now we have a farm with all of our great varieties there. And so we sell cuttings and trees and everything that you could grow to fruit. We pretty much sell it. So let's go ahead and get started. So we'll start tonight. We're just going to kind of go through the basics of this cutting method. This is kind of, they're all in ground. I used to have probably close to 1,000 varieties when I very first started, but they're all in pots. So now everything's pretty much in the ground. All right, so this method I call set it and forget it. So typically this is the method I use during the summer, and it's also great during the winter. You just have to have a few extra tools, basically. So I'm going to start with our pot. Okay, this is just a regular nursery 1 gallon type pot, and I like either this style pot or the tree pots. The tree pots are a little bit different. Great to hear that. Okay, so tree pots are a little bit different, but we got our pot. And the soil mix is always a big topic. So everybody has different ideas on what they want to pot their cuttings in. But I think the key potting mix is in inert media, which means it's sterile. So this is ProMix HP. ProMix HP is probably the best soil that you could use. It doesn't have any gnat larvae in it. It's clean and it's sterile. So it has peat moss, perlite, and micronize in it, which helps with building the roots. So one of the key factors with the soil is the amount of water. So this is a critical step right here, and I'm gonna just tell you guys straight up, this is where most people fail, is right here, this part. So field capacity is a term that we use for when we could squeeze the soil and really no water comes out. You could feel that it's wet, but there's no drops. So this one still has a little bit of drops when I squeeze hard. And it looks like this. It crumbles apart really easily. This is what you're going for, okay? Is this consistency. You don't want soppy, goopy soil. You're gonna kill your cutting that way. And this is step one, really, but it's a very important step. So I'm gonna show you guys here. So we have our pot, okay? And then we're gonna go ahead and take our soil, okay, and we're gonna fill this all the way up, okay. And this part. I know you guys can all do this, no problem. Okay, and it's just like this. Okay, so here we go. Our pot is ready to go. I tap it down a little bit. So here we are, right here. Okay, now we have our cutting. Actually, let's grab a shorter one. Okay, so with our fig cuttings, whenever you're using this short pot like this, it's kind of a shorter pot. You don't want like a foot-long cutting coming out. I think I see people do this, and it's you're better off cutting in half and having two cuttings instead of one just sticking out like this, okay? It's not gonna work. It can, but it has to be absolutely perfect conditions, okay? So if you're gonna use this pot right here, you want a shorter cutting, okay? So I'm gonna show you guys a little something here. This is an older cutting right here. it's a little rough, but you're going to see like, it's only about 6 inches long. You're going to see it's got like 1, 2, 3, 4 branches here that I cut. It was growing all over the place, but the nodes are in here. This is where the branches are going to form, and the roots are going to come out right here, right under here. Okay, so that's where the roots are going to come out. So the whole goal here is to get a majority of this cutting into the pot. You only want one bud sticking out. Okay, so just like this. So we're gonna so a lot of you are gonna ask like, do you use rooting hormone? Do you wrap the top with parafilm? So with this method, you don't need to wrap the top with parafilm to keep it from drying out, because I'm going to show you why. I don't use any rooting hormone currently. I've played with it before, and figs are just so easy to root. You don't really need to use rooting hormone, because if you do use rooting hormone, sometimes when you scrape that wood, and if you get too deep into that cutting, scraping it, scoring it, if it doesn't root quickly, it can get basically what I tell people in layman's terms, it gets an infection. Like it just starts to rot in there. The water will get in there and sit. So it's up to you. I don't do anything to the cuttings anymore. I find you really don't need to. Okay. So I'm going to take this cutting here, and it's going to go all the way down into the pot. Just like that. You just want to have one bud or one node above the soil. This is like the perfect height right here, okay? So once we have the pot like this, we're going to take a plastic bag, just like this. So this bag that I'm using is like the basic vegetable and fruit bag that you get at the grocery store. So, if you use like the really heavy weight, the heavier ones, they tend to hold too much moisture. This bag actually breathes a little bit. Breathes a little bit. Okay? So, you're going to take this whole thing. We didn't water it in. We didn't do anything, right? We just stuck it in there. That's all you do. Okay? So, we're going to take it. I'm going to put this whole bag over it. Like this. Okay. So you're gonna this is it right here. Okay, and I'm gonna show you the next steps after. But basically, let me explain what this is doing. So this plastic bag that's surrounding everything is keeping it all moist and contained. It's basically a humidity dome. So this bag breathes a little bit, and so you're not going to have to worry about rot. Okay, so this is if you could get these bags to do this method, these are the best bags. Like just go to the grocery store and get the really thin ones. Okay, so this is it right here. So I know a question or two is going to come in about wrapping the top with parafilm. Will the top dry out? With this method, it doesn't. Okay, so by the time this starts getting roots, you don't have to worry about the top drying out, because it's already going to be pushing out buds. The cutting is now growing. Okay. Now, what's the difference between doing this method now and in the summer when we usually do it? So in the summer, I'll just take these and throw them outside in the shade, out in the heat, and set them and forget it. That's why I call it that. You just leave them alone. I take a look at them probably once a week, and that's it. And once I see like the buds popping out, usually takes a few weeks in the summer, but I'm going to show you how to do it in the winter. Okay, so you're going to need a few tools as well to do it. So we're going to need a heat source. We're going to need a heat source, okay? So this is, I don't know, a lot of you are probably familiar because most of you garden. This is a heat mat, okay? This is your basic Joe heat mat you get on Amazon. You guys probably all have one, okay? So this heat mat will get 90 degrees plus when you plug it in, okay? Really hot. Really hot isn't gonna work, okay? So with this method right here, you're gonna wanna keep the temperature around 75 to 80 degrees, right in that range, not 90, okay? So how do we prevent that? So this is a temperature controller, and you guys should all have one if you're using a heat mat. It's an additional cost, I know, when you buy these, but it's worth it. So this controller right here, this is how you keep it at that 75 to 80 degrees. This goes into the pot. So a lot of people, like, there's no instructions where this goes, like in the box, like this, but that's where it goes. This goes into the soil of the pot, and then you'll get an accurate reading on how warm it is. So 75 to 80 degrees. If you don't want to buy one of these and you have a warm area, say like a furnace, a basement, somewhere where it's warm, as long as you could keep it around that temperature, then you could get them to root. If they stay cool too long, that's when they rot. That's when they rot. So this can't sit in cool weather. It's gonna eventually rot. You need heat to basically activate it, okay? You need high heat, but not too hot. 80 degrees is perfect. So if you can get 80 degrees, these will root really easily. So I know what some of you are thinking. When do I take the bag off? Okay, that's like the question everybody asks. So you want to take the bag off and check it every once in a while. Usually, like, I don't know, when you're new, you're going to check it every day. It's just how it goes. You're always checking on it. But I really encourage you just to leave these guys alone. Maybe once a week. Because you're going to be looking at your gauge here, right? And you're going to know how warm it is. You're not going to have to put your finger down there or nothing. Okay, so with that bag wrapped around, you don't have to water this. You don't need to touch any of this, okay? Just leave it alone. You're going to see after about, 2 weeks to a month, you're either going to get buds coming out from the node, or you're going to have roots forming. And you probably won't even know because we're using a black pot. But I feel like beginners should just use this style pot because the clear cups and all that. Yeah, you could observe the roots, but you could do a lot of damage too. Like you think that you need to water them when you don't because it looks a little dry at the bottom. This is good right here. Just don't mess with it. So set it and forget it. Pull the bag off, once a week. And if you tug, let's say after the first week, it's not going to be rooted. So don't tug on it. Don't do anything. After 2 weeks, probably not going to be rooted. But after a month and you don't see any growth up here, nothing's popping, you could just slightly tug on it. And if you feel some good resistance, it's rooting. So fig cuttings will do either one of two things. They're going to start putting out roots first or leaves first. Rarely is it they come out at the same time, but if they do, that's the best. So if you're not getting any growth up here, you need to leave that bag on until you start to see some buds pop, okay? So once again, if you don't see any growth, you're not removing the bag. Once you see buds start to form and you start to see the branches coming out and you tug on it and it's rooted, it's time to remove the bag, okay? It's very important to remove the bag as quick as you can because what happens is if you let this branch out and get lots of leaves in this humid environment, once you start removing the bag, there's a high possibility that you're going to send the plant into shock and it's going to die, okay, because it's used to all that humid moisture, all that moisture. So the best is to get the bag off as soon as you can, but not too early, right? So we got to make sure it's rooted. If it's not rooted and you take the bag off, it's going to dry here, right? We have a cut. It's open, okay? But if it has roots, that means the cutting's activated basically and alive. So it's very important to get the bag off as quick as you can before the cutting rots, okay? If it's rooted, great. Leave the bag on until you see growth. If you see growth and you tug on it and it's moving a lot, that means it's not rooted yet. So leave the bag on, okay? That's you leave it on until it's rooted. So that is set it and forget it. And this is the winter style. So you just basically, in a nutshell, you need your heating pad. You need the thermostat. This is so important. So what happens if it sits at 90 degrees for 8 hours? You're going to smoke that cutting. It's gone. It's going to steam. It's going to rot. Okay, so these are dangerous. Heat mats are dangerous if they don't have a thermostat. Some people will put barriers in between if they don't have a thermostat. They'll put, a box or whatnot. It's best to have a thermostat. So I feel like those are the main steps. And then so like right here, I did this one in fall. I did it in October, right before winter. But this was set it and forget it. We only had about a month of heat left, and I just left it outside. And this is rooted really well. It's completely rooted. It's trying to go dormant right now. It did have some more leaves, but this is Galicia Negra. This one has been known to be just an absolute delicious fig. It's a very, very good fig. Sticky, jammy. But this is your goal right here. Okay. So this one's ready to go. So come spring, this thing's going to explode. So right now it's just it's stalled, basically. It's not doing anything. So yeah, so Galicia Negra. All right, so let's see. I'm thinking...
we should probably answer some questions.
Yeah, let's do some questions. Then we'll do a giveaway. Let's do a giveaway after that.
There's a lot of questions, so you're going to have to scroll.
Okay.
See.
I'm going to answer some questions.
Go all the way to the top.
All right, let's see. My big fat finger. All right. Uh-oh. I don't want to push a button. Okay. Ordered some tonight. Thank you. Not too bad. Okay. I'm just trying to catch up. Just give me a sec. Okay. Will you talk about watering once rooted? That's good. That's a good topic. So once it's rooted, and let's say, okay, so you're good. You got your plant. You got some growth. You're still at a very critical stage, right? Like, let's spend a minute and just talk about like when cuttings, when they stall, right? So you get your beautiful little tree started, and all of a sudden it goes like collapses, right? One day it's dead. Like it just starts. The branch turns from bright green to brown, and 100% of the time is dead. Like this is what happens. And next day it starts to wrinkle a little bit, more wrinkle, and it's toast. So that is always caused from overwatering. So overwatering is the number one killer of potted young plants. So what I recommend is just kind of watering the sides very lightly, okay? So if you just drizzle water around the sides, you're going to keep a lot of that water away from the cutting. If that water touches the cutting and there's just a few roots here and there, there's a very high chance that it's going to rot. So when you only have a little bit of roots, you don't need a lot of water. It's just light water, okay? There's no reason for a bunch of water. When the tree's big, yeah, lots of water. But when they're small, you'd rather have them wilt from lack of water than rot from overwater. Because if they wilt, you give them a little bit of water and they perk up. Hope that makes sense. Okay, I'm glad it worked out for you. You did the set it and forget it last year on the I-258 cuttings and it worked. That's good. Yes, we will have a recording of this. You're welcome. I like doing these videos. This is how I spend my Friday nights. Okay, so because the long one will dry out before it roots. Yes. Okay, so if you're going to use these big old giant cuttings, I would recommend the taller tree pots that you could just stick most of this down in. Okay, but you don't want it sticking out of the pot like this. That's not going to work. Okay. I guess cut them in half if they're big like that. You only need like two buds basically. So if you guys aren't familiar, like what a node and a bud is, or basically they're in the same spot, but this is where the branches come out in the figs. Okay, you see that right there? So that's a node. I just call them the same thing, but they have the bud and the node in them. Okay, so you need at least two. You need one below and one above. Best is to have two below and one on top. Okay, so this one probably could be cut just right here. So you got 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you want to have at least one buried. Okay, you missed the first 13 minutes. Sorry, you didn't miss much, but it'll be a replay. Every store will be out of produce bags by Monday, probably. It really is worth it to get those. How frequently to water? Now, we already went over that. Just leave them alone because this is already wet, and this is going to last at least a month to 2 months. Inside that bag, it's going to be moist. Do you put that pot and bag in the dark or for any period of time? I found that it really doesn't matter much. You obviously don't want to just put it out like in the sun or like in the window or anything. You're going to get too much condensation and everything in the bag. So, that is a really good question too, is probably the darkness is best, or regular room lighting is fine. But just as long as it's not beaming in the sun because you're going to just cook everything. Okay. Certain varieties south of you buds out roots. I've noticed all the cuttings of my LC purple pushing buds without roots at 2 weeks. Some varieties do that. Yeah, they'll push out the leaves first before they root. Like I said, like some cuttings root quick and they take forever to put out the top growth. But I think part of that too is the age of the cutting. Like this is an old cutting right here, and typically the older cuttings, they take longer to break this bud right here. It takes longer to pop rather than this off of a fresh cutting. This is a year, from last year. This branch was from the year before. Okay, so it's a little older. You see the gray wood. These don't rot as quick either. Whenever this gray wood is like really hard to kill. Okay.
Good to know.
Yeah, different. All your cuttings are sprouting but no roots. Yeah, you just gotta wait. You gotta wait it out. It's up to the cutting. There's nothing you could do. Just keep it going. And if the cutting fizzles out, it fizzles out. Just some cuttings, there's nothing you could do. They have a certain amount of energy. Once they use all that energy and there's no roots, they fizzle out and die. But you want roots first. That's the goal, but it doesn't always happen that way. Do I put a heat mat directly underneath the pots? Yeah. Whenever I have it set, with the controller at 75 or so, 76, 77, I just set them right on the mat. Some people do put a barrier. It doesn't hurt to put a barrier either, because you're going to have that probe in there to check. Okay, can you leave the cutting indoors in room temp without a heat mat? No, not recommended. Not this time of the year. Most people's homes are 74. You're pushing it. There's some varieties are very vigorous. You may get away with it, but a majority of the varieties are going to sit and not do anything. Okay, that I fight it here. Like I could put a bunch in the office here, but they'll just sit and not do anything. But in the summer, when it gets 78 in here, they all pop and root great in here. So, right now you're going to need a heat mat. But let's talk about the benefit of rooting now, right? So if you do get a tree started now, you're ahead of the game. So you may get figs end of year next year. But if you start them in spring and they start getting going towards late spring into summer, you're probably not going to get any figs or, nothing. You're going to gain a lot by 3 or 4 months of growth indoors rather than waiting till spring, which spring's great to wait as well. It's just up to you on what your goal is. What can you sub for the Pro Mix? The Sunshine or Sungrow. Sunshine, I think, Aggregate Plus is really good. Happy Frog has a few. A lot of people just make their own. They use a peat moss and perlite mix. Like a 50-50 is good. You just have to be be careful with making sure it's not too much peat moss. That gets kind of tricky, but I mean, people do root in pure peat moss. It's just, this is for beginners, okay? This is supposed to be the easiest way. So yeah, you can make your own, like a 50-50. Perlite is, in case you guys don't know, it's this little like white rock that you see in the soil. You can see this soil has a lot in it. This comes with right out of the bag. And what's so important about right out of the bag is that you don't have to do anything to it. The bag is sealed shut. There's no gnat larvae in it because there's nothing in here decaying. Okay, so gnats are a big issue. What strength fertilizer? Oh, spider mites, random spider at bay when rooting fig cutting. I really don't have trouble with spider mites. It's usually fungus gnats, and I like to use the little yellow sticky cards. And if you guys really want to get those gnats, like, so you got the parent gnats, right? You got the ones that are flying around. Yeah, let me see these. So I get these on Amazon. I have them all over. Like, it's kind of like, like creepy in here. They're all over the place. But no, if they work, you put like 50 of them out, all over the place, and they work. They'll keep the, yeah, right here. They're cheap now. You get these on Amazon. 36 of them. But yeah, you just pop them everywhere. So you get the adults, right? And then you can break the cycle because the adults, they go and lay the eggs. You can use miticide, right? Miticide is when it's like a soil drench. If you're going to use neem oil for the spider mites is pretty good. I try to stay pretty organic though.
Yeah, but the artificially now. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Then too. We also check this out. All right. We got our certification for organic. Okay. So I've kept my promise to our customers, my wife and I. It's a lot of work, but this is in California. Okay. It's not an easy deal, but this is our certification of organic registration. Okay. We're very, very proud of it. Just got it renewed. So they'll be out again to inspect here shortly. But yeah, so very happy about that because as you guys know, you've seen some of my farm videos. I've got Bermuda all around the trees. We get it all maintained out there, all the rows. So, but it's a challenge, okay? But our figs are organic. When you come and eat our figs, there's no chemicals on them or nothing. Okay, what strength fertilizer do you use after rooted and have 2 or 3 sets of leaves? Oh, you know what? I like to just, I take it easy with the fertilizer. In the beginning, I'll just use a Osmocote 14-14-14, and I'll just kind of like mix it into the soil a little bit, the top, and water it in. Usually it's going to be like in the very second or third watering. You don't want to worry about fertilizing too much in the beginning because you can also burn the roots if you do the blue liquid from Miracle Grow, the powder. You have to be careful. You have to really dilute it with the young trees because a lot of people get really, really antsy and they want to get their trees huge fast. So they'll over fertilize. They'll roast the roots and the plant will die. I've done it. I did it way too many times. Don't do it. But you could use the blue stuff once the tree's established. I use it on all my plants, my little plants. They grow quick. The Miracle Grow. Once rooted, minor on a shelf garage. Temps will be about 40 or less. Bring inside mouse. Under 40 is fine. One of the good things too is like you could get these trees up rooted and then you could let them go dormant. Like this is like a little trick. Like some of these that I get rooted, once I'll take the bag off, I could just leave them in the house at like 74, 72, and they'll start to just kind of go dormant. They won't really grow much unless I put the good lights on them. But you could kind of let them go dormant, and then once they go dormant in the house, you could put them outside as long as it's, not under 30. And then come spring, you don't have to worry about acclimating them, right? It's like you just have a dormant tree that's young, but you don't have to acclimate it, and you just put it out in the sun when spring starts. It's good question. Yeah. Overwatering, I know. That's the number one killer. Just don't do it. Just learn from me. I killed way too many cuttings overwatering. All you do is just, if you feel it, it's light as a bone, maybe it's too dry at the bottom, you just drizzle a little bit around the sides. Because if you saturate that dry soil and you're still rooting it, you're not squeezing it out, right? You're not going to be able to pull it all out and squeeze it out, so that water is just going to soak in and sit. So you guys need to remember that. If it's dry at the bottom and you start watering it, that it's just going to absorb all that water, and that cutting's going to sit and then rot. It's gone. It's going to die. So that's why it's so important that this whole step, this whole thing is for a reason. Is so you don't have to mess with watering. Just leave it alone. You've got a lot of soil in here, and it shouldn't dry at that temperature. And plus you'll get some condensation from the bag that'll help keep it moist in there. Transitioning rooting cuttings. You know what? Like whenever you have a good 2 to 3 leaves, 4 leaves on them, you want to put them out. Give them a little bit of sun each day. I like to put them on the patio outside in the shade, and they'll get that filtered light. And I'll do that for about a week, and after that, depending on the heat, okay, because sometimes we'll get these wild like 90s in March, like out of the blue. You can't put the little trees out there that you're just going to sizzle all the leaves. So it kind of depends on your temperatures. If you're set in the 70s, 80s, you should be fine transitioning them into that temperature slowly, though. Just a little, That's what I tell people. Like a lot of people ask me, why don't you grow, trees, so many trees? And it's like I used to, but you have to babysit them. There's babysitting involved. So there's a lot that goes involved with keeping these trees alive when they're young and lush. Okay, I've been cutting 2-gallon apple juice containers, rooting. I cut holes in the bottom. Those are great. This guy, Steve Winters, some of you guys know him as Fruit Nut in Texas, uses 1-gallon milk jugs. Oh, that's how he used to sell all of his trees. They'd have huge, massive root systems. Whatever you could use to get the biggest root system. I'm going to do one more question, and we're going to do a raffle.
Okay, I have a lot of other questions.
Considering ProMix is a bit pricey, do you have recommendations for making your own mix? It is pricey. Gosh, it's ridiculous. It's like triple the price of what it used to be. You could try the peat moss perlite combo, and you could probably shop around to find the peat moss. Some of the garden centers will have it discounted sometimes for winter. So I'd shop around it, but you could use that. Yeah. All right, just a few more. Let me see. I like doing the questions. What are your thoughts on shoot tips versus cuttings from lower down? You're talking about atypical buds, like right here. Well, I'm going to tell you the positive is that you don't need anything. This isn't going to dry out no matter what, right? It's sealed up. It's like sealed. But I've found that they do take a little bit longer to open up. So sometimes that could be a little bit of a challenge, rather than, one that's already cut. So I don't think technically there's any really big difference, except these take just a little bit longer, but they typically have a lot of buds around the bud. So you're going to get a lot of branching too. You could always remove it too. You could just clip this off, this tip right here, and it's gonna act as if you removed it. For some reason, I set my mat at 80 and the temperature needle reads 72. Is that too low? 72 is too low. When I measure the mat, it's over 90. There's an issue somewhere. Maybe it's your thermostat might be bad. 72 is too cold. That would be just having it sitting in the house. And I measure the mat's over 90. That's something's up with that. I don't know. That might be a bad thermostat. Do you score the cuttings? I used to. I've played with it. I don't really find that it's necessary. I know a few people say they love using rooting hormone. They love scoring the cuttings. I've done it a few times, but I have better results just sticking them in the pot and not even worrying about it. They're so easy to root. There's really no reason for it. I don't know why I thought the older cuttings would take quicker. Now, they're usually a little bit slower, especially the thicker you get, right? The fatter the cutting, the longer it takes to root, but the quicker you get a tree, like a good-sized tree. So this isn't too fat. This is pretty good, but there's some fatties, like 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch. They take longer, but they'll get big. Once they get big quick. If you start to cutting the small pots, how long do you have to wait before potting up to a big pot? Good question. With figs, you don't really have to transition them in increments in size pots, right? So this pot right here, this 1 gallon, if it's filled with roots, this can go directly into a 15 gallon. Okay, so if this is filled with roots, it's going to have probably this much growth. It could slide right into a 15 gallon and take off. So skip the 5, skip the 7, right into a 15. That's if you want to get your tree big quick. As far as putting this in the ground, that's going to kind of depend on your temperatures. Like little trees like this will struggle the first year if you put them in the ground. I've done it at my farm. I've stunted some. They've lost a whole year of growth because I've rushed it. I really tell people a 3 gallon to 5 gallon size is the minimum size before you plant them into the ground. You're going to get the maximum benefit. Yeah, you could put some 1 gallon size in there and you may get lucky and one takes off, but a lot of times they'll struggle. Okay, I hope that made sense. Hi, Brian. I've been having good success with fig pops, but want to try this method. Easy to do a bunch of cuttings at a time. Yes, fig pops are very, very convenient. Very convenient. Yes, you could do a whole bunch at one time, but there are a lot of intricacies in ways that you could kill your cuttings. So this method is why I like it best for beginners, but people use fig pops too. Okay. Once you open the Pro Mix, how do you store it and keep it sterile and usable? Good. Man, you guys come up with some good questions. I have a big bag that I wrap over the whole thing. That is really a good question because you know what? That's how the fungus gnats get in there and they lay their eggs. So it's very important. Like I tell people, like if you're going to go to Home Depot used to sell Pro Mix and it didn't sell. This was 8 years ago. But they would all be beat up. The bags, they'd have corners missing and bugs would get in there and whatnot. So yeah, you don't want that. You don't want anything getting in there. So yeah, good one. Osmocote is organic? No, I don't think so.
Because we were saying that we're organic.
Yeah.
Explain why we're organic.
Yeah, the little trees, we'll use Osmocote on them, but everything like in our farm and everything, we don't use any fertilizers. We just use composted horse manure. But you got to be careful with that too, because then you get corn growing everywhere. But we don't our fig trees we don't use pesticides or we don't even claim them to be organic whenever I do sell our little trees. Do you put the pot in a dark place? You can put them in a dark place as long as you have that heat. That's the key. Your mat may be defective. It should not be 90 degrees and then 72 in your pot. That's definitely something going on there.
You'll probably do this.
Let's do it. All right, let's do a raffle. You guys ready? Yeah, we're going to do a giveaway. So I'm going to tell you guys what this giveaway is. I appreciate you guys staying on and checking out the live tonight. So I thought, what the heck, I'm going to give you guys a few cuttings. Hopefully you could win. They're great varieties. It's a thank you guys for joining. So I'm going to first tell you what the varieties are, and then we're going to go from there. Okay. So tonight we got Bordeaux Negra Ramada. Okay, I just cut this. I just cut all these just a little bit ago. These trees are all at my house. These ones. Okay, Bordeaux Negra Ramada. Unghiarolo. This is a really rare fig. This is a very cold hardy fig. It's grown successfully in zone 6. Unghiarolo. The really cool thing about this fig is it's called the fingernail fig. It has a fingernail shape on every fig, a flap. It's very unique. It used to be a unicorn. You never find it. But the last few years, this came from a collection of, his name is Mario. And he unfortunately passed away, but his, I think it's his son that's selling cuttings and trees of his collection. Okay, so you're going to get Unghiarolo, Bordeaux Negra Ramada, and then we're going to do Iraqi. Okay, a lot of you guys don't know about Iraqi. Iraqi is a palmata. It's a little bit different than your regular Ficus carica. Okay, so this variety 2 is supposed to be nematode resistant, which is exciting for people in Florida and areas like that. So this makes a purple fig. It's extremely vigorous and it grows like a beast. You're not going to find this variety. You may, but it's pretty rare to find. Okay, so these 3 cuttings, these are going to be the first giveaway here. We're going to do 2. We're going to do one now and one in a little bit. Okay, so here we are. What we're going to do. All right, it makes me nervous. You guys are getting some good cuttings here. I cut those and I was like, oh my God, these are good. All right, so I'm going to go back to elementary school here, how we used to do it. So I'm going to have you guys pick a number between, let's say, 15 and 30. Okay? And it's going to be the first person that gets it. You're going to get those cuttings, okay? If I miss something, it's just going to be the first person I say that gets it. So I'm going to write the number down right here, and then I'll tell you guys when to start.
So let them know that sometimes there's a delay on there. So
Yeah, and sometimes there is a delay too, so just bear with me. See it? Got it? All right. Okay. Make sure nobody's peeking. You can?
why are you trying to show them?
No, not. Here we go.
You're not good at this.
All right.
Wait, what was it between?
15 and 40. Right?
I don't even remember.
Okay, you got the number?
Yeah.
It's secure?
30s. This is who I see first.
All right.
Who do you see first?
You know what? I need to scroll down. Oh, jeez. Man, you guys are fast.
Well, yeah, because you... This is who I saw first on my side. But who do you see first on your side? Because mine's delayed.
Let me just double check. All right. Got a lot of you. All right. Winner. P-U-P-D. I might have...
This one?
Yeah.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah.
P-D.
I may have butchered your name. I'm very sorry.
637.
637. You are the winner. Okay.
Number was 25.
No, the number was 25. I saw some of you got it too, but this person got it first. That's a pretty good batch of cuttings. So we're gonna make note of that.
They put no, it is right. Thank you. She's responding.
Oh.
We said is it poi?
Oh, I got it. Okay, yeah. I just had to catch up. Okay, so
I will message.
that was awesome. Okay, so I've got about 10 to 15 minutes here for any other questions that you guys want to ask regarding this method, or any other questions about rooting the cuttings.
And then just wrap it up with what you want to try out.
Yeah.
This is like going 50 minutes.
A few more seconds here. You guys have any other questions about set it forgetting?
Be like, that's great. Everyone's
Okay.
winning. Congratulations.
Can you rescue a cutting that has started to rot? Man. You know what? I used to have, in my old house, I used to have a pile of mulch out in the backyard. And I would cut the rot off. I'd make sure I could read the name, and I just throw it in the pile of compost. Excuse me. And if I got lucky, once in a while they will root. But I'll take it to the end. I'll just keep trying to root it. Let's see. Have you had success rooting in water? Okay, so rooting in water, here's the deal. You could get these little white bumps started, and they're called lenticels. Okay, they're like the precursor to the roots. Okay, so basically it means they're pre-roots. But if you let the roots form in water, they're very thin and hairy. They just don't get those spaghetti type noodle size and look. They get very thin. Very low success rate with rooting in water and then transplanting into dirt. So what I recommend is you could pre-root them in water, get them started, and then just go ahead and do the set it and forget it method. Just pot them up and go from there. What was the name of the cold hardy rare variety giveaway? Can you please write it?
Here, put it here, and then I'll put it in the comments.
Yep, we'll get it for you.
No, you have to write it for me, and then I'll put it in the comments.
Unghiarolo.
And just like show it.
Mm-hmm. This is it right here. Unghiarolo.
Just leave it on longer. Nobody can. You're so.
The fingernail fig. It's bizarre. Every single fig has a flap on it.
Here, I can just spell it here. U-N-G-H.
Unghiarolo.
I-A. Before I post it, I'll show you. I-A-R.
I had a rotting Delsim 1 grand cutting once. Pulled it out, and the bottom half had rotted. I pulled the cutting out, cut it in half, rooted the top half. That wasn't rotten, grew 8 feet the first season. Yeah, see? You get every ounce out of it. That's a perfect example. I don't toss them until they're completely rotten. And then if I have one bud left, I'll just lay it in sideways in the soil and barely cover it, and sometimes it'll take.
Here, is this the way you spell it?
Yeah, that's correct. How do you clean your cuttings? Good question. There's a few different ways. A lot of people will use hydrogen peroxide and water. I just use these Clorox wipes, these Lysol wipes, disinfecting wipes, just because they're convenient. But they work well. Some people will do like a bleach solution, but I think that's going overboard. I think just we used to always use Dawn dish soap back in the day for cleaning cuttings, and rooted fine. So I wouldn't try to make it too complicated with the cleaning. Just as long as you get all the dirt off, that's the key. Because when you get all that condensation and inside, the heat and the dirt will cause mold. And then if you get mold, you can just wipe it off. So that's one of the things too, is that you keep an eye on it and stay on top of the mold, you'll be okay. Sometimes you will get mold no matter what. Yes, there's definitely hope. I took branches from a friend's house about a month ago and didn't do anything with them. They are still in my house. Can I try to root them? It just depends. If they're wrinkly at all, they're probably toast. But if they've been stored properly, do you guys know how to store cuttings? You got to store cuttings a certain way. Like you cut them. You could put them in a Ziploc and then seal the Ziploc and put them in a crisper drawer, and they'll last a year, dormant cuttings. So it just depends. If they're wrinkly, they're done. If they're not wrinkly and you scrape the bark on top and you see green underneath the cambium layer, then they're still viable. There's still hope. But just remember, like the clock's ticking, there's a clock in the cutting. The longer you wait, the less chance they'll root. All right. Okay. Well, anybody have any other questions for the cuttings? We're about ready to wrap it up. We're gonna do a final giveaway. We also, if you guys are interested in any of our cuttings as well, like we have a starter pack that we came up with, and there are 3 really good varieties. I just went out there and I picked like 3 varieties that I think that will work really well for people of all, beginners especially. So
why?
These are all like very tasty varieties, and then so we have that pack, and we have our we have our honey fig pack as well. So, and then we have our berry pack too. So we'll go ahead and we've got those on the website. The beginner pack, I think it's the beginner's trio. It's only $20 and you get 3 really good varieties.
And what are their names and why are they good?
So you get the Col de Dame Grease, Galicia Negra, and I believe it's CDA. So 3 really good varieties. And then we have a honey fig pack too, and I believe that one is CDA, Natalino, Fico, Sereno, and Bacor. So really good varieties at a really inexpensive price for you guys, just to get you guys started with some good varieties that are really tasty, and they do well in most environments. Let's see if there's any other questions. Okay, so the full name of that Ramada giveaway, that was Bordeaux Negra Ramada. And then, so, our surprise pack too, we have a mystery pack too I started recently, and it's 8 varieties for $40. And I just randomly pick them at the farm of just ones that I believe are like good. So they're all usually really good varieties, and I'm just trying to just distribute all these different varieties to everybody and make it reasonable. So we have that as well, and we'll have information after this on links and all that to get to the listings. Let me see any other questions. Are there certain varieties that you found that root easier than others? Well, yeah, you know what? There are. That's one of the really neat things about figs, is that some root easier than others. And I think it just has to do with genetics, because Black Madeira is always going to be Black Madeira. It's always hard to root. Esquia Black from UC Davis, same thing. It's hard to root, but some varieties root really easily, and usually figs root easily. It's pretty much the majority. And the ones that don't root easily are the ones that you want to probably consider grafting onto a good rootstock. So having a good rootstock and learning how to graft is something we'll cover on another live, but that's something that you want to look into, that's for sure. All right, let me see what else. Okay, just let her cut last night. Thank you. I cut all my orders fresh. Like, I go to the farm every day and take each order that comes in. I go to the farm every day and fill all those orders. So you don't have to worry about storage or how they're stored or where they're stored or when they were cut. It's just my routine. So that's what. And our in-ground trees, they're so healthy. The wood's heavy. they root really easily. That's why you'll see so many people have success with them, is because mostly because they're in ground and they're really healthy and vigorous. So yeah, you guys should check it out. What is your most sought after variety? Well, I have one that's called Neuroditalizi variegated, and it's so you look at Bordeaux Negra Ramada, which is a striped fig. Well, this is a variety that's very popular called Taro. It's an Italian variety, and it gets size of a baseball, the Briva, and it starts out like Panache, the tiger stripe, and then it turns red, black stripes, and then when it ripens, it's almost black. So it's a variety that I can't sell. I've just been testing it for somebody for a few years now to test to see if it reverts back to its original variety, which part of my tree has. So it's not completely stable. It's probably similar like Panache. Just, occasionally a branch will revert back to its original. Yeah, it's grafting, man. We're getting into that season here. That's going to be probably end of February and March. If you guys don't know, I have a tree out front that's got like 20 varieties grafted on it. So once you run out of space, you just start grafting. You put them on the roof. Just keep grafting different varieties. And that's how you can, make these decisions. Like, you graft a variety and you could get figs from it 6 months later. It's crazy. Grafting is just so fast. And once you have the confidence built up, you'll rather graft than root cuttings. It's easier and it's quicker. And so once you just have this tree that's got 20, 30 grafts on it of varieties, you could then pick what suits your climate, right? Your little microclimate, what works best. And if you want to plant that to ground or air layer it off, right? And then pot it in a pot, grow it in a big pot. So having a tree like with all those varieties grafted on it, man, I have people sending me cuttings every day that's like, I just graft them. I just put them on the tree and I'll put 2 or 3, and if one takes, that's great. It's very easy. Can you repeat the name? Tour of your farm. Oh man, yeah. We do what's cool is like during fig season, so you guys know, like if you come buy figs here, because we can't ship fresh figs, unfortunately we're not going to, because of there's a bug that's black fig fly, it's called. It's not here, but it's in areas around here, and we don't want to spread it, so we just have local pickup for our fresh figs. But when you come to the house, I have like 20 trees here, so I give a little tour. I'll go through each tree, we'll try some figs. I have unknown pastilier right out front, black Madeira, so you'll try like the best. So yeah, if you guys you want to plan a little vacay, like to come by, try some figs. We start in July and we end in November. So just reach out to me. I enjoy showing people the figs.
But they want a tour of your farm.
Grafting, the farm. Now the farm is, we got too much potholes and gopher holes, and it's just too uneven. It's just a little risky out there. Okay, so grafting a non-cold hardy to a cold hardy, will the graft be more cold hardy? So the rootstock always wins. So grafting a non-cold hardy to a cold hardy cold hardy, will the graft be more cold hardy? No, no. The top will die. It's just basically you're gonna have your earliest variety, right? Your most cold hardy is gonna be your rootstock, and then your top, if it dies back, you could regraft, or it doesn't turn into a cold hardy variety if you graft it onto a cold hard variety. Neuroditalizi. I'll write it down for everyone.
Well, I could comment here.
Okay. All right.
So let you watch. Because when you put it on there, it's backwards.
I know, I'm going to give it to you. I have made a few posts on Facebook about this fig, so you check it out. I'm sure one day it'll be available. I'm just testing it. I've had it for a few years. The person that owns it is holding on to it, but eventually to get released. Yeah, Fresno.
Is it D capitalized?
Mm-hmm. Lowercase D-I and then
V-E-R. I can't understand your handwriting.
D-I.
V-E-R.
I-A. Gated. It's very gated. They're probably populated on there.
Sorry, I can't understand my husband's handwriting.
The die and the T are spaced. There's a space between the die and the T.
Okay. How am I supposed to know that?
Just bought 4 panache fig cuttings. I'm stoked. Panache is great, man. Like, if you live in a hot area, it's one of the best figs. The nice thing about it is it has a very thick skin. My tree is facing the south, and it gets blasted, like hot. And the figs don't boil. Excuse me. Yeah, that looks good. So the figs don't boil on the tree. That's important, right? Like some of the big varieties that I grow, they'll boil in the heat and they'll spoil. We had 114. It did a big mess. You're welcome. All right. Okay, so I think we should do one more raffle and wrap it up. If you guys have any other questions, get them in, and we're going to do one more. Right.
What's the question?
Oh, are there any striped cold hardy figs? Nope, there aren't. Maybe Papone. Papone is a little bit cold hardy. You might be able to find that variety. P-O-P-O-N-E. Papone. It's an old Italian fig. It's probably pronounced something different because it's Italian, but that's how it's spelled. But it's pretty cold hardy. I know a friend of mine in Connecticut grows it, but he does bring his trees inside during winter. But that's probably the cold hardiest out of all the variegated or Ramada figs. Does Panache do well in humid? No. It'll split. It just kind of depends on how humid. Northern California, what variety are good? Oh, geez, you can open up my website. Everything I grow is great. Northern California, are you like up by the Bay Area?
What's the website?
Yeah, if you're kind of like in my same zone, Unknown Pastillier, Black Madeira, there's Yuba City. Okay, Yuba City, that's a little cooler, right? Is that kind of by the bay? Yuba City, I believe that is. Oh, 9B. Okay, you're okay. You're like us. Yeah, so like Tia Pena, some of the late varieties are good too. You'll see most of the varieties I sell on our website. So our website's profigusa.com. You're going to see all these different varieties there. Usually there's going to be descriptions if they're a berry fig or a honey fig. So that's kind of, there's a lot of information on there. Oh, 1 hour from SAC. Yeah, you're good with almost everything I sell. I would definitely get Unknown Pastillier. That's for sure. And CDA, Constantine de Algeri. That's a big old yellow honey fig that's out of this world. Rarest variety that I sell? Well, I have a whole bunch of really rare varieties that I haven't started selling because I'm trying to build up the stock first, the trees. But, Bordeaux Negro Ramada is pretty rare. I'm listing some varieties tonight on the website. They'll be on there, so you guys will get first dibs at them. Blue Province is one of them, and then I've got three. I got 3 of them. So I just put them on there. There's one called Preto Grandola. So it's a big black fig that's got a golden interior, and it's from the city of Lisbon, Portugal. So as far as panache, yes, panache is great pollinated. It gets pollinated here. So yeah, it's fantastic pollinated. Yeah, Roy, Blue Province comes from your area, right? I don't think anybody really has it here, to be honest. Like maybe a few people. I got it from my friend down south. She has it. But it's got these huge leaves, giant leaves like this, huge, like dinner plates, big heart-shaped leaves. So those are on there. I only have, like one of the reasons why I don't put a lot of varieties on there is because I only have like, the trees are still kind of small. I try to only sell the cuttings when I have enough to supply a lot of people. So like there's probably 6 cuttings on there and they'll be gone probably tonight. You know, I have some of these varieties that people will scoop them up. But if you guys are interested in the starter packs, there are 3 good varieties. We'll send you guys a direct message, just comment starter pack, and we'll send you the link after the live, and then you guys could just go to the website and order. That's if you guys want to order them, but it's cheap. They're like $20, but there are 3 good varieties, and I think it's great. Also the berry pack and the honey pack too. So if you guys are interested in those, either of those, we'll send you guys the link after, and then just make sure, like, you know, berry pack, honey pack, and then also if you want the mystery fig cutting pack, that one's good too. That's 8 varieties. And make sure you guys check out our website, profigusa.com. We're adding different varieties here and there, and I think we're gonna do one more raffle and wrap it up.
Thank you to everybody.
Yep. Thank you guys very much who stayed till the end. We're gonna do one more, and let's see. All right, so we got these right here. Okay, so this is gonna be again the same combination of fig varieties: Iraqi, Bordesson Negro Ramada, and Unghiarolo. I just cut all these right before this. So these are going to root easily. These are all high-end, like premium good varieties. So I'm going to do this again. We're going to make a number. Let's see. Let's do a number between 30 and 60. Okay?
I'm gonna pick it.
You can pick it. My wife's going to pick it. Good luck.
30 and 60.
It killed me cutting my Iraqi tree, but I feel like it needs to get out there in circulation. Okay, you have the number? What does that say? Oh, that. Like that. Okay. There we go. All right, so we have the official. Oh my God, you already got it. Let me just double check.
Kristen Ladd.
Kristen, you got it. 37. Man, that was fast.
Christy.
Or Kristen.
Ladd.
It's got to be Kristen. Yeah, Kristen, you got it. You're the winner. You got three cuttings coming your way. So we'll reach out to the winners, right, and get their information, and we'll send the cuttings to you guys. You got it. We're gonna take care of it. And but hey, it was fun. Like I said, if you guys are interested in any of those combination packs that I went over, just comment, and we'll get the links out to you. But I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your Friday night to listen to me talk. I like to talk about this. It brings me joy, and I'm really happy that I got to help spread some of what I learned from others. So thank you guys for joining me tonight, and I look forward to the next one. All right, we'll see you soon. Thanks.